Okay, just tell them. I think we should give it an introduction that will be going on inside.
All right, guys. Welcome all Forward fans, wherever you guys may be today. Disappointed we can't be at the Majestic Theater celebrating together, but I think we're going to have a fun afternoon here. So thank you for joining us at a safe social distance today. We're going to be joined by our club ownership, technical staff, and we got some flock members in the audience here as well, and some players. So first, let me introduce our first guest. First up, Chief Operating Officer, Forward Madison FC, Connor Kaloya from the University of Wisconsin.
Thanks for having me, cool.
Hey, thanks for being here, Connor. Hopefully we're not too close here, but yeah, that's right. Next, our club president of Forward Madison FC, Mr. Vern the Inferno Stenman.
All right.
And last but not least, our esteemed head coach and technical director, Mr. Daryl Shore. All right. Well, thank you guys all for being here today. Obviously not the Majestic today, but I think we're still in a pretty nice little stream here. We got a lot of viewers, I think, around the world. So folks that aren't even in Madison can be joining us today.
Well, it's great that we can keep this going. Obviously it's been a week that I don't think any of us expected, and probably a week unlike we'll ever have again. And while it's been challenging for many of us, we still want to be able to communicate and engage and give you a behind-the-scenes look. And so kind of before we get going, I just want to recognize our local and state public health officials in leadership for kind of taking quick action. We've been in constant communication with them, and we really appreciate what they're doing. I think it's also important to recognize local health professionals that are kind of putting other people, the best interest of other people before themselves, and taking care of the community. So, I think one of the things that we've loved about our time with Forward is that we see how it unites people and it brings a sense of community. And I think community in taking care of each other and looking out for other people is more important than ever. And, while our community isn't together at the Majestic, hopefully we are virtually and still, able to enjoy each other's company and have some good communication here. So we want to start by just giving a couple updates on our response to what's happening. And, just kind of the most recent updates. The players had the weekend off. We're making a few of them work today. But from a training standpoint, we've taken the weekend off. We've kind of done a brief hiatus. We're going to reevaluate tomorrow afternoon before we resume anything. We're working closely with the USL in U.S. soccer and the pro leagues across the country to make sure we're doing best practices as it relates to that. Just to kind of reiterate and update our fans, our March 25th match, the exhibition match between the Red Stars and UW has been canceled, and your tickets for that game can be exchanged for any other regular season game. The U.S. Open Cup has been postponed, and we're still awaiting more information on that, but for now it's postponed. And then our April 11th home match has been postponed as well. Early this coming week, we will be in further discussions with the USL as to how we're going to work out our rescheduling. Our commitment to our season ticket holders was 18 home matches, and we're still hopeful that we can fulfill that between 14 regular season matches and 4 exhibitions, a couple of which will be international exhibitions. So we're still on schedule for the bulk of our schedule. There is going to be some reshuffling, but we still feel good about our ability to fulfill our commitment to our fans of 18 home matches at Breese Stevens Field.
Daryl was ready to commit a playoff game as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
He felt like 2 playoff games right there at home.
That is the plan. I don't want to.
Was that in the package?
But that is the plan.
Got it. And the last thing I'll say, we just a reminder, we won't be playing at home any sooner than April 18th. But when we do return to Breese Stevens Field, we think the atmosphere is going to be electric, and it's going to be fun to resume back to normal, and we think that's going to happen this summer. So thank you for joining us. This isn't the big event we had planned at the Majestic. I'll give Kuba some credit that on 48-hour notice we've shifted to an online somewhat low budget production, but
Mixed budget.
we want to thank Mitchell for helping us out here, and we're gonna have some fun today. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Connor. And so Vern, we were hoping you could kind of tell us a little bit about the decision to have the flock come and design this kit, and a little bit on the community side of where that came from.
Well, the thing that really defined our first season here in Madison with the soccer team was absolutely the flock. From day one when we came to terms with the city of Madison on what this thing was going to be at Bree Stevens Field, to our first home match in the snow, to the road trips at the end of the season, to Lansing and to Dallas and the playoff party. I mean, so many memories that were defined by the flock. And over the summer, I think we got to talking and said, okay, we're gonna always be looking to evolve from a uniform and from a kit side of things. What are we gonna do next? Because we set the bar really high. We had a really great team with Kuba, Chase Egan on our team, Cassidy Sipnitsky that did some of the design work early on. And we were looking around like last July, August, saying, how are we going to raise the bar on this thing that's already, literally become the most popular kit or the best kit in the world through that contest. What's that?
Best kid in the world ever?
Best kit in the world ever, I believe. That's official.
Yeah. We made a patch, so it had to be real.
And so, so the bar was high, and what were we going to do? And I think that, the flock obviously brought amazing energy to games, but they also have a really talented group of designers within the flock. And I think we started the discussion late last summer saying, what if we brought this to the flock? And I think one of the first things we asked Kuba was, hey, has anybody done anything like this? Because we always like kind of breaking new ground. And to our knowledge, no one's done exactly what we have done here in partnership with the flock to really give 100% creative control of our kit on the road for next year to the flock. It was kind of funny. I'll never forget, we were having a staff meeting at one point, and I said, would it be cheesy if they did the road uniform, because then the flock would always be with us? And I looked around the office and everybody was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And I'm like, okay, good. I wasn't quite sure how that was going to be received. But that's really the idea with giving them the road kit. We knew they had the design aesthetic. We knew they'd bring the energy. Mm-hmm. We knew they'd bring some of the fun to it. And we also wanted to figure out a real authentic way to connect with them and the great causes that they're a part of. And so $5 for every kit that we sell, every road kit we sell this year, will be donated back to the flock, and they'll be using it for their flock soccer fund efforts that are doing some amazing things in both the youth and the wheelchair soccer world.
Hey, that's artificial crowd noise for that.
Yeah. And so
that's real.
That's what it'd be like the Majestic, right?
Yeah. We knew we had the right partners. We knew we had the right starting point to kind of put this thing together, and we were just thankful that the flock also thought it was a cool idea and something they wanted to get behind. And then I tell you what, they knocked it out of the park as far as what they brought from a design aesthetic, like they always do. And that's one of the things that's always impressed us, I think, about what they've done.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Daryl, you've had a little wrench, I think, in your preseason plans with kind of the outbreaking going on. Can you give us a quick update on what's going on with the squad and kind of your outlook for 2020 here?
This is in my coaching profession, I've seen a lot of things, both good and bad, and this is by far the strangest that's ever come about. And so we were starting to, what we felt like as a group, getting closer and closer to being ready for kickoff. And so with the news coming out and everything, we've kind of had to try and hit the pause button and kind of figure this whole thing out. So we had a game scheduled for Thursday that we had to postpone, and then another one for today that we postponed, as well as our upcoming one against Marquette. So right now we're kind of in a holding pattern. We trained yesterday. It was a good training session. The guys are all in good spirits, but they're also asking a lot of questions because a lot of us are unsure of what happens next. So like Connor said, we'll try and get some more news tomorrow. One of the good things is obviously with our new partnership with the Chicago Fire, we've been in constant contact with them, which has been great. Every day we're speaking to them, and they're kind of giving us a little bit of feedback as to what they're doing and letting us know what's going on in the MLS. And then obviously we're trying to keep tabs on what's going on with the USL and our league. So leading up to what we thought was going to be a game today, guys are getting fitter, guys are healthy for the most part, and we're just excited for the 2020 season. And I think with all the bad that's come out of this is hopefully if we do stay on schedule and start on April 18th, the great thing is that we'll get to open 2020 in front of our home fans.
Yeah.
And so that's something that you probably won't see in Madison very often with the season starting so early. So the ability for us to hopefully have our home opener against Omaha on the 18th in front of our fans and in front of our city is a pretty exciting thing, and I know something that the players are all looking forward to.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great. All right, guys, so we had a lot of questions submitted on social media. Tried to pick some of the best, try to direct it where appropriate to people here. So Daryl, I think this one would be most appropriate for you, the first one. And I know you've kind of gotten this a lot, but how is our keeper position looking? I'm worried about it. I know it will all work out in the long run, though. Hashtag goalies rock.
Do we need goalkeepers?
Well, if anybody wanted to come watch training yesterday, there was a moment where one of our goalkeepers who's on trial had an injury, so somebody had to jump in to train, and that somebody can now say that he kept a clean sheet. There were no goals scored. His team won, and the winning team ended up getting some points. We have a point system going on in training this year. I won't mention who that goalkeeper was, but he is in this room right now, and he is sitting on this panel. But for
I've always
lack of
thought-
better words,
I've always thought Bert would be a great backup goalkeeper.
we have talked about signing Bert.
Bert,
So
I've always thought.
Emergency goalkeeper.
that has
Yeah.
been in discussions, but unfortunately,
It's like the NHL backup guy.
there's an owner that's already beat Vern to the punch of being an owner /
That's true.
Yeah.
goalkeeper. So
Yes.
Tim
Yeah.
Howard beat Vern to it. So
Similar
It was a
talent,
contest
I
back
think.
and forth,
Similar talent,
like
yeah.
nobody was there for the.
but with us, wanting to do things sometimes outside the box, we felt like we couldn't follow in Memphis'
Right, yeah.
footsteps with that. So
Yeah.
Predictable, too predictable.
Our goalkeeping situation will announce in the next coming days that we've signed a goalkeeper who we feel very excited about. It's a player who has extensive playing experience overseas. We also have Brandon Barnes, who's coming off of injury. And then the other thing, and I think Connor mentioned this last week when we did our announcement with the Fire. The Fire have 5 goalkeepers on their roster, and 2 of them that are very exciting and younger. So I think as this all plays out, there's a good chance that we'll have a goalkeeper on loan from the Chicago Fire. But also, I think once everyone sees the player that we're going to announce next week and see what his background is, everything, everybody will be able to be put a little bit at ease. And me being obviously a former goalkeeper and a former goalkeeper coach, it's a position I take very seriously, unlike my assistant coach, who thinks that they're just there to keep the ball out of the goal and do nothing else. He calls them non-soccer players. But goalkeeping is very important to us, and we do have a quality goalkeeper that we'll announce in the next few days.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Daryl, this one's also for you. Other than the new signings, what is the biggest difference you see with the squad this year compared to last year?
I mean, listen, last year was a great first season. We were happy, but not too happy. We weren't satisfied, I guess is the best word to put it. We have a lot to build on. We were happy that we made the playoffs. We were happy that we had a successful year. But at the end of the day, there's only one team at the end of the year that is satisfied with how the season went, and that wasn't us. This year, when we came in, we talked to the players about one thing in focus was, what can I do every day to get better as an individual to make our team better? And I think from the start of preseason, going down to Birmingham, we had a great trip, great preseason trip. I know some people were worried about the results. We didn't focus on the results. We focused on what we're calling the process and the process of getting better.
We can tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sound like the 76ers, the process.
Right,
I hope it's
well,
not a 4-year process.
It's
Coach.
not a 4-year process.
All right, good,
It's
good.
a 2020 process of getting better every day, getting better at training every day. And our players know, the ones coming back and now the guys that have joined the group, that every day if I get better, And that starts from myself as a coach all the way down. If we each as individuals get better every day, then the team will be better, and that will lead us to a championship.
Awesome. Great. Connor and Bryn, this might be more for you guys here. Forward Madison has drawn a lot of national interest, and I think even international. What is the most interesting or surprising fan moment that you have experienced outside of the Madison area?
I think the one thing we didn't expect was to ship merchandise to 10 countries and then have, our great fans in Europe, Natalie, the English Flamingo. We just had like this kind of swell of stuff we didn't quite expect. And so, in our previous background being baseball, those businesses are hyper local. In the global nature of soccer, and the fact watching the brand kind of go beyond Madison, get national and even international, that just isn't what we expected when we launched this, and it's been awesome, and I think it's something we can build on. Like long term, as we talk strategic planning, I know now is not the time to talk about it, but long term, doing an international tour and doing more outside of the U.S., I think is something this team has a desire to do.
I think that Lansing trip was amazing. I mean, both the way that group of fans received us, but also the presence that we had in Lansing. I got the opportunity to ride the flock bus, or one of the flock buses, to Lansing, and it was amazing. The energy both on the bus, but then in the stadium, we had their fans outnumbered 2-1 at least. It felt like
at least volume wise.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the 150 fans. I remember just kind of we were handing out tickets as people came in, and just that energy was unreal. I mean, that was an eye opener, I think, for all of us to see. I mean, we knew the flock was powerful, and what they created at Breese Stevens Field is amazing. But to take the show on the road was pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, the players would say the same. The 2 trips for the players, Lansing, and then come on, we have our own tour bus now. So Richmond. I mean, you can't leave that one out either. I mean, it's funny. I saw a guy the other day walking at a festival with like 8 cases of New Glarus beer, and he looked at me and he goes, "Yeah, I'm bootleg," and I said, "We got you beat."
Gone nationwide.
We kept that keg cold for 4 days?
Yeah.
Ice cold
and full.
Yeah, full. Yeah.
Probably more impressive. Yeah.
Got Jameson to help.
Is there going to be a new alternate jersey this season?
Yeah, I mean, we're working through the concepts right now. It's early on. Kuba actually knows the answer to that question, so it's odd.
Yeah.
I don't know, Kuba. Why don't you tell us about this alternate kit that you're so curious about?
It's coming.
Kuba, is there going to be an alternate jersey?
There will.
No, I think to talk to that. Obviously we had some success with our kits last year, and we're very excited to give the flock our road kit. Yes, there will be an alternate that we feel we're very bullish on. And then there may be some additional ones over the course of the summer as well. But yeah, winning the best kid in the world of all time or whatever it was.
Universe, I believe.
Universe.
Yeah.
Greatest kid ever in the universe forever. We're trying to top that. So, we will we'll have an alternate and a couple other kids.
We're creating our own contest for next year. I don't know if you knew about this or not.
Our own awards, at least.
Yeah. Probably going to win.
Daryl, another one for you. If you weren't a coach, what would you be doing?
Oh, man. It's one of 2 things. And since the tour has taken a break, I couldn't be a caddy on the PGA Tour. But that's like a lifelong dream or bucket list thing would be to be a caddy on the PGA Tour for an event.
For retirement, maybe?
Yeah, but while I still got good knees and stuff, I'd have to be sooner rather than later. I think it's obvious. As I was playing, I was a school teacher back in New Orleans. So I grew up, my father, a lot of people know, is a basketball coach, but he was also a school teacher. So I grew up around the education and all that stuff. And I actually, when I played in New Orleans and was teaching at the same time, I really enjoyed that. And so I think if I weren't coaching, I'd be teaching.
Nice. Leading groups.
Yeah, I mean, when I applied for when I became a teacher, I met with the president of the school because I was going there to be the soccer coach. And she said to me, "What's your degree in?" I said, "English." And she got that look, and I said, no, don't go there. And she goes, well, we need an English teacher. And I looked at her and I said, I'm a coach, not a teacher. And her comment back to me was, if you can coach, you can teach. And that's actually stuck with me throughout my career. So, yeah, I think it'd be a school teacher.
Cool. Awesome. Kind of last one we had here, Vernon Connery, and I don't know if you guys can fully answer this, but are you able to break down the team's kind of revenue streams into what the different silos are? Between merchandise, tickets, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think we've built the club on transparency, so I think we'll kind of give a little behind the scenes look here. So in sports business, in the lower divisions, lower levels, you kind of have back of the napkin equation of 1/3 of your revenues, corporate partnerships, 1/3 tickets, 1/3 kind of game day revenue, merchandise, concessions. As a business matures and grows, you do more ticket revenue, and those other two groups kind of drop a little bit. We've been fortunate on the merchandise side that that's a larger chunk than we expected it would be. But your traditional revenues are ticket sales, which is between 1/3 and half of it. We're fortunate to have a great corporate partner base of local businesses that support us. We've done very well on the merchandise side, and then game day revenue as well. So that's your back of the napkin mix. Ours has fluctuated a little bit, but that's
I think kind of on that topic, the goal for us in this club has been to kind of figure out the model of lower division soccer in the U.S. Because I think that as I look at the sport of soccer, and you want it to continue to grow at this level and every level around the country, people have to start figuring out how to make these things work as a business, and that's something we're focused on. We haven't quite figured it out perfectly yet, but we feel confident in the next couple of years that we're going to figure out a way to do this. We want to be the leaders. We want people across the country to come to Madison and say, these guys got this thing working. We want them to learn from the Flock. We want them to learn from our ticket sales team. We want them to learn from our web team and our marketing team that you lead. And ask those questions, because we take pride in that kind of thing. And I do think that for the sport to grow at this level, a club like us has to kind of figure out how to really make it work and bring the energy that comes on a Saturday night at Breese Stevens Field, which I think is not just amongst the most unique atmospheres in Madison or in soccer, but just in sports in the United States year round. There's not a much more interesting place to be than Breese Stevens Field on a Saturday night with Forward Madison at home. And that's kind of the foundation of the business, really. Sure, you got the silos, you got the different spots where we have things, but if that experience isn't great, every night, none of the other stuff matters, because the sponsors aren't going to care. The ticket buyers aren't going to want to buy the second ticket after they buy the first ticket. And if it's boring, they're going to be gone. And so let's start with the experience first. The business will come behind it if the experience is great, and that's what we got. We got the experience down, thanks to the Flock and so many other people, our season ticket holders, our players that understand it and get how to get out and appreciate the investment that people are putting into it. And I think that over the next couple of years, we're going to put something together that's pretty special there.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank three of you for coming up and joining us.
Okay. We didn't ask Kuba any questions.
No,
So I think I've got one. So given the current climate of what's going on, Kuba, if you had to be quarantined with one fellow Forward Madison staff member for 2 weeks,
do players count or just Forward?
I think what do you think? I think we go front office. Yeah, front office.
I mean, there's one.
Not that you have to pick favorites, but 2 weeks, just you and this one. And we all love Lauren, but I'm saying,
man, it's tough. I'll have to pick Chase just because after his wedding, I know he's got a lot of wine and other liquor in his garage, so I feel like we'd have something to do at his house.
Good pick.
Plus, she's not happy. Probably got some merchandise.
Yeah. Jason. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We're gonna make room for the Flock.
Thanks everybody for joining us.
All right, coming up next, we got Andrew Schmidt, Mark Crosby, Chris Fox, the storied designers of the 2020 away jersey.
Get that.
Get some of that.
Get some of this.
Thanks.
Rub that around.
Purell break, quick.
Just situation.
Just trying to make.
Segment brought to you by Puro.
I'm not trying to die yet.
No, you're
Yeah.
too young.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
All right, crowd. Oh, thank you. All right, so guys, you three kind of led the design process of this away jersey. Walk us through who did the most work, who did the least work, who had the ideas. How did it all happen?
I did the least work. I just gave opinions on what I thought would be the move and what wouldn't be the move as a creative director for not only the flock in general, but for Featherstone Flamingos as well as a co-founder. It's kind of my position to kind of be presented ideas and tell people what I think about it. So,
To have opinions. He has a few opinions
I got a
and he
few
has
of
them
those.
well. Yeah,
I've heard so.
Yeah, it was a team effort. We've done a ton of things together in terms of flock merch, the flock logo. We've just been the group bouncing things off of each other. And so far we've been successful, so kept it going.
So I know the Athletic, great piece from Pablo Mar came out on Thursday. He shared some of those other designs that you guys had in there.
There were a lot.
How many did you create total?
I mean,
I think
so
it was 25 or 30.
At least,
so
yeah.
you had your sick day last year.
Yeah, I had
You
a
came
sick
up with a
day.
bunch. So you had 24 on there.
Yeah, I had a
somewhere on there?
pre-COVID sick day with a few dozen on there.
Yeah, and
Just
then
random ideas.
and then we tossed around a lot more.
Yeah.
We had ones that were kind of like a take on like a Galatasaray kind of shirt. We had a take on like a quarter panel for the kind of a nod to the rugby shirt that we did last year. We did a lot. We had the Vaporwave one. We had the Solo Cup one.
Yep.
We had the tartan one that makes
I
me
love it.
nauseous just
I love it.
Just looking at it.
I'm still mad we didn't do that.
Yeah.
So did you when you kind of came down to the design that was eventually chosen, did you put that to the group then? Was there kind of a wider
No,
flock
it stayed,
consensus?
it stayed
A little bit.
pretty
A
close,
small amount, yeah.
but there was a small opening for folks to give us, more opinions as far as our committees and folks in our Slack channels. But after that, it was kind of just left to our own resources between the three of us to figure out exactly which lane we wanted to drive down and which one was worth it and met the aesthetic we wanted to bring and the level of quality we wanted to bring and really showcase, I guess, what we dealt with in year one, which was, hey, we're here. Hey, we're going to do this a little bit differently than everybody else. Yeah. And we want to make sure we continue on that route. So it was... Yeah.
I think, and you all will see it once you see the shirt, we really tried to focus a lot more on, we went out there as far as some of the ideas, like if you saw the Athletic article, you saw some of the sort of wilder stuff that was out there, and, there's nothing to say that we can't do some of those in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna get weird.
Yeah,
get weird.
but I think what we landed on is pretty timeless, pretty simple, pretty because we're all soccer fans, and even though we, being from Madison, we like having fun, we like having a good time, we like not taking things too entirely seriously, but we all are also soccer fans that, our doorway into the sport was through English soccer, which it prides themselves on tradition and simplicity. So I think, we tried to lean in that direction as much as possible to give people something that was sort of timeless and more simplistic and something that hopefully makes people proud.
To add on with that timeless, simplistic look, we wanted to make sure that we brought the flavor that is Forward Madison, that is the flock, that is a little bit outside of the box, but a take on that classic look of a football game.
What do you think it'll mean to you guys to kind of watch the guys run out for an away game wearing the shirt you designed?
There's a lot. Throw that on my portfolio. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Something I never thought I'd have on mine either.
Yeah.
Just to be a part of it is an honor. The respect to the club, the front office for allowing us to be a part of this process and give them our input and our design tactics and how we've done to really just push forward onto the pitch and, help the club and the lads realize that we're here to support nothing but them and the club itself. And that's what our kit, I think, represents fully.
You should probably get some more of this.
You could get some Purell break. Yeah, let's get Purell break.
He has to get some double pump.
I got a lot. All right. Well, we got the Purell on. Should we make some space here and we'll get the
let's bring
shirts
them
out?
in.
Yeah, please.
Bring them in.
Without further ado, I guess we'll
All right. So without further ado, the 2020 Forward Madison away kit.
Come on. Work it. Let's see a spin.
Ooh.
Spin.
Show me you're excited to be wearing this new away kit.
Yeah.
Alessandro is
Alessandro,
very
you look
excited
good.
right now.
That away.
He's very excited.
Pumped.
Tell. Oh hey, it's Turbo and Pato.
So first of
Some
all,
of us did our hair
we've got
for
Pato's
the
hair.
video today.
Let's just highlight
Some
Pato's
did
hair.
not.
Awesome. So guys, Andrew, can you walk us through some of the design elements, or Mark or Chris?
Yeah, we can trade off.
Yeah.
Let's walk around.
Start us through it.
Here, I'll try to keep some social distance here, as the healthcare experts remind us. So one of the things that we tried to do with this is play around with different line weights in ways that we thought could be kind of cool to represent how we as supporters hopefully will be with the team regardless of where they play. And for away days, we want to make sure that they understand, as cheesy as it is, through thick and thin, which is why we see the different line weights on the diagonal sashes that make vertical patterns as well, because we are a very upward motivated team.
Yeah, on top of that, each of these sashes has 11 lines in it. We've got our 11 players on the pitch. 2 of them made it today because we're not trying to get the whole team sick. And you know, we started with a 12 pink line with names on it, but we've got too many fans, so we ended up filling in the entirety of the white sashes with that. So that's where the 12th man comes in, and we want to let you know that we're there with you on away days, just like home days.
Awesome. Yeah, well, it's a good problem to have too many.
Yeah,
Too many
yeah.
fans.
Too many season ticket holders, yeah.
One of the cool things that we tried to do too was make it so that the individual Hummel chevrons actually have 11 on, I think there's 11 total.
Yep.
So there are 11 stripes there too. This is the first time that Hummels actually had their chevrons, their sort of signature piece for their brand, be slotted, which is kind of a cool thing too. What about the supporter names, Chris?
So the supporter names, all of our season ticket holders, again, Mark mentioned that there were the 11 lines for the 11 players on the pitch, that 12th being us. But overall, we've got every single supporter's name that is a season ticket holder on this kit. On the outside.
Over 900.
Over 900 season ticket holders represented on the outside of this kit, because home or away, especially obviously away, we want these lads to know that we are there for them. We're here to support the club. On the road, it's a big feat to go into somebody else's home, conquer, get that with 3, but we're right there with all of our lads, every single away match, supporting them, and that's what we wanted to represent here with having our supporters and our season ticket holders' names on this kit.
Awesome. Well, Connor, I know you and Christian, how does it feel kind of wearing the shirt?
It feels special. For a long time, we talked last year in the locker room that we were part of a greater community, and every time we put the jersey on, we were representing them. So to go on the road and actually have members of those community on the shirt, it's one of the last things you look on before you step on the field. And that's pretty special. I don't know how you feel, Christian.
Yeah, no, I think it's the same. Knowing that once we put the shirt on, it's like we carry all of the fans with us, right? So I think it's an extra motivation for us. The design is really nice, but obviously just having the names in the jersey is something new. I've never seen it, and I really like it, honestly.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we're excited. The jerseys are on sale now. They're on the team store.
Yeah.
Jason, if you click out the social links, boom, hit up our social media, get to the shop. Season ticket holders, you guys got a promo code sent out to you guys, get 18% off. Thank you everybody for joining us. Let's stay a safe distance away. Take care of each other.
Up the goes, let's go.
Yeah, up the goes.
It's the last one.